As for others, it's a way of saving money. And mom, a lot of my friends are doing well because of this same village banking.
Money Evening News. Money Evening News.
In your financial indicators today, Thursday, 13th September 2022, the US dollar is buying at 15 kwacha 70 ngwe and selling at 16 kwacha 1 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 17 kwacha 41 ngwe and selling at 17 kwacha 75 ngwe. The euro is buying at 15 kwacha 24 ngwe and selling at 15 kwacha 54 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 85 ngwe and selling at 87 ngwe. Those are your financial indicators. The news headlines. Minister of Transport and Logistics says government will modernize the Mongu and Liua airports in Western Province.
Government promises to modernize the airports in the province, which include the Mongu and Liua airports.
International Cotton Advisory Committee tips small-scale cotton holder farmers to take advantage of organic matters to reduce on production costs.
Opportunities. For example, Zambia has a lot of organic matter in the form of weeds, in the form of bushes, in the form of...
Nigeria seeks debt restructuring from International Monetary Fund and IMF and World Bank. Klings Kangwa tipped to start for Red Star Belgrade in a UEFA Europa League match. Hello and welcome to the Money Evening News on Money FM. I am Best Jerry. Minister of Transport and Logistics says government will modernize the Mongu and Liua airports in Western Province. Speaking at the ongoing Western Province Tourism, Trade and Investment Expo, Frank Terry says this is in a bid to ease the movement of passengers and exports such as cashew nuts. Mr. Tayali states that the Mongu airport will be modernized to include a passenger terminal, cargo handling facilities, and fueling facilities, while Liua will be developed into a modern tourist airport. He has also stressed the need for Zambia to boost international trade with Angola in order for Western Province to be the gateway to Angola.
It also depends on water transport services. Therefore, we have devolved the maritime and pontoon services to the local authority. So far, to effectively deliver these services to the people of Western Province, as well as build capacity among the local people. Henceforth, pontoons and harbors will be run by the local authorities, apart from those shared by international waters. In the aviation subsector, the government promises to modernize the airports in the province, which include the Mongu and Liua airports, in order to ease the movement of passengers and exports, such as your cashew nuts. The Mongo Airport will be modernized to include a passenger terminal, cargo handling facilities, and fueling facility. On the other hand, Yuba will be developed into a modern tourist airport.
The expo is being held under the theme Transforming Western Province into a Viable Regional Hub for Transport and Logistics as a cost-efficient gateway to international markets. Green Economy and Environment Minister says there is no nation that is immune to impact of climate change. Speaking at the third National Environmental Protection Dialogue in Lusaka, Collins Nzovu says unsustainable use of natural resource and the rate at which the environment is degrading are greatly challenging efforts to attain environmental sustainability. Mr. Nzovu says as the nation adapts to or mitigate against impacts of climate change, stakeholders need to work together now more than ever to protect the environment. He has since reassured the nation that government will continue to provide leadership in the green economy and environmental sector.
Very soon be carrying out compliance monitoring activity. So everybody must come on board. I call upon all of you to regard the EPT, the dialogue forum, as an important mechanism in which we need to compare notes, find solutions, and move in one direction. It's no longer news that we're experiencing a climate crisis. You can only look across the road that there are droughts here. These droughts are leading to food insecurity. You can only look across in some areas where there's flooding.
And British High Commissioner to Zambia, Nicholas Woolley, says the United Kingdom is committed to supporting ethical investments of all sizes in Zambia to generate tax revenues for government, create jobs and incomes, and ensure that communities benefit from green investments.
Of all sizes in Zambia to generate tax revenues for the government, to create jobs and incomes, and to support communities benefit from green investments. The UK will support Zambia develop a pipeline of investable green projects and increase UK public and commercial investment in these projects. This year, Prospero Limited, the UK's private sector development partner, passed the milestone of mobilising $100 million of private investment in a wide range of sectors in Zambia's green economy. Supported sectors have included everything from food and agriculture, sustainable mining, recycling, and conservation tourism. The UK is also supporting a groundbreaking trading company, Africa Green Co, to become the first private sector buyer and trader of clean energy.
Meanwhile, Center for Environment Justice, CEJ Board Chairperson Vincent Ziva, says the organization remains committed to its mandate of ensuring that environmental rights are respected, climate justice is achieved, and advocating for adequate financing to the environmental sector. Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF's Living Planet report, has revealed a devastating 69% drop in wildlife populations on average in less than a lifetime. Commenting on the findings, WWF Zambia Country Director Nachilala Nkombo says the organization is extremely worried about the new data sets confirming the continued rapid decline of the world's natural capital. Ms. Nkombo says if this trend is not reversed, humanity's fighting chance to survive will be further narrowed. She adds that to save everyone, nature has to be saved by taking bold actions today to secure a nature-positive future.
New data sets confirming the continued rapid decline of the world's biodiversity. If this trend is not reversed, humanity's fighting chance to survive will be further narrowed. The new Living Planet report reveals shocking figures directly related to our interlinked climate and biodiversity crisis, which we must act on to deliver transformative change to our productive systems. We're looking to our political leaders and our business leaders to step up at COP15 as our children worldwide are watching.
We take a short break. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
For business on the go, visit www.moneyfmzambia.com to watch, stream, and download various programs from anywhere in the world.
Estate Investment Masterclass. Fairwood Properties Limited presents the Real Estate Investment Masterclass. Come and learn, grow, expand your network, earn skills to close and lead profitable real estate projects. By attending this masterclass, you will be eligible for free membership in the next real estate investment project. The Real Estate Investment Masterclass will be held on the 15th of October 2022 from 8 hours to 13 hours at Mulungushi Conference Center. The masterclass will be hosted by Chisewe Fumbeshi, chartered and registered valuation surveyor. Get your tickets by calling 0978-313-503 or come to Fairwood Properties along Fair Road in Woodlands. This masterclass is in partnership with Indo Zambia Bank. For more details, visit Fairwood Properties Limited on all social media platforms or our website fairwoodzambia.com.
International Cotton Advisory Committee, ICSC, has tipped small-scale cotton holder farmers to take advantage of organic matters to increase yields and reduce on production costs. Committee Chief Scientist Dr. Keshav Kranthi says Zambia needs to devise mechanisms that will allow the country to favorably compete with other cotton-producing nations. Dr. Kranthi notes that currently it is difficult to compete with countries where a bag of fertilizer is costing $30 while the same bag is costing around $60 in Zambia. Hence, the need to find means of increasing productivity while lowering the production cost. He was speaking on the sidelines of the International Trade Center support to business-friendly and inclusive national policies and strengthening productive capabilities and value chains, the dissemination seminar in Lusaka.
For example, Zambia has a lot of organic matter in the form of weeds, in the form of bushes, in the form of shrubs. There is this plant that we identified very recently. It is called Titonia diversifolia, which has flowers which are good insecticides with proven insecticidal capability. There are plants also which are known as Titonia, like the species is called Rotundifolia, which is a great green manure. There are plenty of all these glyricidia. Similarly, there is so much here in Zambia, but unfortunately nothing has been utilized. People consider it as waste. People consider it as nuisance, as weeds. In fact, even these cotton stalks, there are tons and tons of cotton stalks which are not put back into the soil, they are burnt. Sometimes they're also being used in kitchen, but then with a lot of smoke. When we convert cotton stalks into something which is called biochar, which can be very easily done by farmers in their backyard, you're actually generating carbon. For these soils in Zambia, even if you add just biochar to them, yields can improve. So we believe that a lot much can happen.
This is the Money Evening News at 17:30. Minister of Technology and Science says government has placed value on developing relevant skills among the youth as it is the driver of the economy. Speaking during the graduation ceremony of 840 graduates from Lusaka Trades Training Institute, Felix Mutati says government has demonstrated its commitment by supporting skills development bursary schemes using two streams of funding, which are CDF and Skills Development Fund, SDF. Mr. Mutati states that government is also committed to creating opportunities for the youth, particularly in technology, which is expected to drive the local economy and development. He said this in a speech delivered on his behalf by Northern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Lewis Mwapi.
On developing relevant skills among the young people as it is the driver of the economy. The New Dawn government has demonstrated its commitment by supporting skills development bursary schemes using two streams of funding, namely CDF and Skills Development Fund, which is SDF. The New Dawn government, under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, is committed to create opportunities for the youth, particularly in technology, which is expected to drive the local economy and development.
Minister of Finance and National Planning says Zambia is on course in her quest to resolve the crippling debt crisis. Speaking at an investor seminar organized by JP Morgan dubbed Zambia, Delivering Medium-Term Fiscal and Debt Sustainability, Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane says this is in a bid to create conditions required for enhanced local and foreign investments, faster economic growth, jobs for the youths, and the needed sustained wealth creation to enhance the country's capacity to repay creditors. Dr. Msokotwane has also reaffirmed the common framework for debt treatment as the most practical solution available under the country's circumstances in resolving the crisis and facilitate conditions required for enhanced local and foreign investments, faster economic growth, jobs for the youths, and the needed sustained wealth creation to enhance the country's capacity to repay creditors. Still to come is international and sports news. Stay tuned.
News. Money International News.
Welcome back. You are still listening to Money Evening News and now international news. Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Amda, has disclosed that the government is in talks with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank to restructure the country's debt. This day reports that the minister also revealed that the country was considering tapping from the IMF's newly created food shock window that allows member countries to access emergency financing instruments. The new window will be available for a year to provide additional access to emergency financing for countries facing urgent balance of payment need related to the global food crisis. Speaking on the sidelines of the ongoing IMF World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C., Amd says it is a fact that Nigeria's debt has increased over the last 3 to 4 years, and this increase in debt was occasioned by the different kind of exogenous shocks that the country faced, which is not unique to Nigeria. For more of such stories, join us for Africa Business Report at 08:45 weekdays. Taiwan has reopened to tourists to the massive after lifting some of the world's longest-lasting pandemic border controls. Al Jazeera reports that visitors have begun arriving on the island today without the need for quarantine or PCR test for the first time in more than 2.5 years. Taiwanese officials welcomed the first group of visitors arriving in a flight from Bangkok shortly after midnight at the island's main international airport near Taipei. For more of such stories, join us for Global Business Report at 17:50 weekdays. This is the Money Evening News at 17:30.
Money Sports News. Money Sports News.
In sports news, Zambian midfielder Klings Kangwa is expected to return to UEFA Europa League action this evening. Zamfoot reports that Kangwa was sent off in the 63rd minute in the 2-1 loss to Turkish outfit Trabzonspor, sidelining him for the 4-1 win over Ferencvaros. Kangwa was included in coach Milos Milojevic's 23-member squad for their trip to Hungary yesterday. He was on target over the weekend as the Red and Whites eased past Spartak Subotica 3-0 in round 14 Serbian Super League encounter. Milojevic believes that Hungarian side are very good in attack and have to be neutralized carefully by Belgrade. Kangwa has managed 5 goals and 3 assists in 18 appearances in all competitions. The match will kick off at 21 hours. Manchester City midfielder Kevin De Bruyne expects up and down Liverpool to return to their best when the two teams meet the Premier League on Super Sunday. Sky Business News reports that Liverpool, last season's runner-up, have picked up only 2 wins from 8 games and sit 10th in the table, 13 points adrift of City in second. However, Liverpool landed a morale-boosting 7-1 win at Rangers on Wednesday night ahead of their clash with City at Anfield live on this Sunday, kickoff at 4:30 p.m. As we end the news, we look at the headlines once again. The news headlines. Minister of Transport and Logistics says government will modernize the Mongu and Liua airports in Western Province.
The government promises to modernize the airports in the province, which include the Mongu and Liua airports.
International Cotton Advisory Committee tips small-scale cotton holder farmers to take advantage of organic matters to reduce on production costs.
Zambia also has its own opportunities. For example, Zambia has a lot of organic matter in the form of weeds, in the form of bushes, in the form of...
Nigeria seeks debt restructuring from International Monetary Fund and World Bank. Klinsgang were tipped to start for Red Star Belgrade in a UEFA Europa League match. For these stories and more, be sure to visit our website on www.manfmzambia.com. Follow us on Facebook, Money FM Zambia, on Twitter and Instagram, Money FM Zambia. You can also download our Money FM app from App Store and Google Play Store. And for marketing, contact us on +260 967 865040 or 0211 25 2237. Thank you for listening to Money Evening News. I am Best Jerry. Good evening. This is Money FM.
For business on the go, visit www.moneyfmzambia.com to watch, stream, and download various programs from anywhere in the world.
Money Evening News. Money Evening News. Global Business Report. Get global, go global now on Global Business on Money FM, your business radio. Global Business Report. Get global, go global now on Global Business on Money FM, your business radio.
China chip industry group troubled by United States export curbs. Oil prices rise on tight supplies as International Energy Agency warns of global recession. Kwasi Kwarteng in Washington, D.C. for talks with International Monetary Fund as Liz Truss faces revolt at home.
Global Business Report. Get global, go global now on Global Business on Money FM, your business radio.
It is 17:59 Central African Time, and a warm welcome to Global Business Report, Thursday edition, with me, Best Jerry. China's top trade group for the chip sector has said it is disappointed by recent United States export controls and warned they could put more stress on global supply chains. Al Jazeera reports last week the United States Department of Commerce passed a sweeping set of regulations aimed at kneecapping advancements in China's semiconductor industry. If enforced broadly, the regulations could bar research labs and commercial data centers access to advanced AI chips, prevent Chinese chip fabrication plants from purchasing critical manufacturing equipment, and force United States nationals working at advanced Chinese chip companies to resign. The world's richest man, Elon Musk, has scented a new opportunity to capitalize on quirky products, launching a perfume called Burnt Hair that he said sold 10,000 bottles to earn $1 million in just a few hours. Reuters reports previous brain waves have included Tesla's own brand Tequila, launched in 2020, and a pair of shots to signify Musk's victory over investors who bet against the electric vehicle maker, now the world's most valuable car firm. His Boring Company, a tunneling firm last valued at $5.7 billion, sold flamethrowers at $500 apiece in early 2018, raising $10 million. He also sold 50,000 Boring Company hats. Oil prices affirmed finding continued support from an OPEC Plus decision last week to cut supplies, as the International Energy Agency warns that those cuts may push the global economy into recession. CNBC reports Brent crude futures rose 21 cents or 0.2% to $92.66 a barrel. United States West Texas Intermediate crude was up 14 cents or 0.2% at $87.36 a barrel. Last week, the producer group comprising the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and allies, including Russia, pushed prices higher when it agreed to cut supply by 2 million barrels per day. We take a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
Global Business Report. Get global, go global now on Global Business on Money FM, your business radio.
Welcome back. Liz Truss faces open vote in her party over her planned tax cuts, her chancellor will today try to reassure the International Monetary Fund that everything is under control in United Kingdom, UK. Sky Business News reports ministers continue to be under pressure for the market chaos that erupted after the government announced its £45 billion package of unfunded tax cuts last month. The Prime Minister and Kwasi Kwarteng, the Chancellor, have said that the cuts are needed to get Britain's economy growing again, as data published on Wednesday suggests the country is heading for recession. After over a decade of delays, the deafening sound of Finland's new Olkiluoto 3 nuclear reactor, finally running its turbine at full power, was welcomed with joy and relief. France 24 reports the Nordic country is hoping the plant will be able to ease the coming winter's challenges as Europe battles soaring energy prices following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The almost 300 degrees Celsius, about 572 Fahrenheit steam gushing from the reactor turns the over 60-meter-long turbine up to 26 times every second, making a visit to the turbine islands in protective gear feel as hot as one of Finland's ubiquitous saunas. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we go, we have a news summary from the BBC.
New research has found that global wildlife populations have fallen by nearly 70% in less than 50 years. World Wildlife Fund's Living Planet report said the huge decline between 1970 and 2018 was driven largely by the loss and breakup of natural habitat for agriculture. The worst affected regions were Latin America and the Caribbean. The Ukrainian authorities say Russia has launched more attacks this morning. A critical infrastructure facility near the capital, Kyiv, was hit. There's no information on casualties. A residential building in the southern city of Mykolaiv has also been shelled. 14 NATO countries have made a formal commitment to provide air defense systems to Ukraine. Britain's defense minister said missiles it's supplying will be delivered in the coming weeks. Vladimir Putin is expected to meet President Erdogan of Turkey at a regional summit in Kazakhstan today. Kremlin officials say Mr. Erdogan is likely to raise the issue of peace talks over Ukraine. State media in North Korea says its leader, Kim Jong-un, has supervised the test firing of 2 long-range missiles capable of carrying nuclear weapons. The state news agency said the strategic cruise missiles flew for 2,000 kilometers over the sea. The Supreme Court in India has failed to decide whether Muslim students should be allowed to wear the hijab in classrooms after 2 judges gave opposing views. The case, which was brought by activists and students, has now been referred to the Chief Justice. Survivors and relatives of those killed in the Bali bombings 20 years ago have expressed shock at the content of a video shown during a remembrance ceremony on the island. The film, prepared by Indonesian officials, included images of injured people fleeing the nightclubs after the attacks.
Global Business Report. Get global, go global now on Global Business on Money FM, your business radio.
Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to join us on Friday for another Global Business Report. This has been Best Jerry. Stay tuned.
Get global, go global now on Global Business on Money FM, your business radio.
Thank you
Next
so
time
much
you're
for joining
thirsty,
us.
think Aquarite
God
Purified
bless
Water.
you. Remember,
Supplies of
tomorrow at the same time.
18.9 liters,
Bye-bye.
750 mils, 500
Thank you
mils,
so much, our
10
subscribers.
liters, 5 liters, and
Let
2
us be
liters
subscribing.
purified
Let's
water.
continue
We
subscribing
also
and
supply
inviting
water
more people
dispensers.
for more
In our efforts to
subscription.
serve you better,
We're bringing
we
you our
repair
news
and
here.
service
A
water
number of,
dispensers. Deliveries are also made to our corporate clients. You
a
can
number of
access our
information that
purified
you
water
need
from all
for
leading
this
wholesalers,
God
supermarkets,
bless you.
retail outlets, and timbers at all Aquarite depots or